Now my glasses are all foggy. Hello all you wonderful, beautiful, and craptastic people. CraptasticJack here. Today we are on the Crew 2. It's been a while since I made a video on the Crew 2. The last video I made, I believe, was talking about blazing shots. And that was like a good couple months ago. So it's been a couple months since Blazing Shots has come out. And I did a video last year called The Crew 2 in 2019. Basically me going over what I wanted to see out of The Crew 2 in 2019. And to see maybe if they would, you know, bounce back from 2018 and maybe make the game good. And I had some very choice words in that video. The Crew 2 is it's a big it's such, compared to the Crew 1, it's such a bastardization of the Crew 1. It's not even funny. And I still agree. This game, just compared to the Crew 1, is still a bastardization of the original game. But that doesn't stop Ivory from, you know, being able to correct course and start listening to the player base, which they've seemed to be doing a lot less in 2019. Sure, they gave us the Summit in 2019, which is probably arguably the biggest request after PvP, but still, there's so many things wrong with this game. Issues that have not been fixed since the original Crew game are just being ignored. The whole headlights debacle. People are saying, hey, the headlights are useless, we need better headlights. So Ivory Tower, in their infinite wisdom, decides, hey, instead of actually fixing headlights, let's just make daytime 23 hours. And let's make the 1 hour or 2 hours that it's nighttime just really fucking light. Ivory Tower continuing to repeatedly subvert expectations. So yeah, but I want to talk about the Crew 2 in 2020. Let's face it, this game is probably gonna get an expansion. I can feel one coming. There was talks about an expansion in 2019, but that never came. And with this whole roadmap that they've given us, I have a feeling that they're still planning something big. And another thing that really makes me believe this, actually, why am I just fucking flying around? Alright, don't expect the best out of me, because I've not played this game in a long while. For PvP, I play a lot of Forza nowadays, so probably can be the best performance. God, what the fuck is that wheel spin, man? Alright, bye. Bye, everyone. It's nice knowing you. So, yeah, this game, in 2019, there was really only one major update. Sure, Blazing Shots kind of makes it too, but I'm talking major update. Hot Shots was the only major update in all of 2019, and for a game that keeps touting that they're doing very good live service and that they've had an amazing first year, it really makes you doubt that. It really makes you think that they're putting a lot of their resources into other things. I hope it's another Crew game. I hope they can just leave the Crew 2 behind, honestly, and go back to their roots, a la a game like the Crew 1. But another part of me thinks that they're doing an expansion. And if they are doing an expansion, you can tell, because Blazing Shots is really just a glorified Summit pack update. Because I remember in my review for the Summit, them adding the Summit was a good idea, and the Summit, that was a good update. And I said very clearly in my review of the Summit at the end, Ivory Tower needs to focus their next update after Hot Shots at offering something that will entice new people to the game and old players back to the point where they want to devote more time to building their cars and maximizing their perks and tunes, either by reducing the grind or adding more content aimed at newer players. So yeah, they really haven't done that. They're really relying way too heavily on the Summit to keep people coming back. And sure, the Summit does bring a lot of the hardcore fans back to the game weekly, but for your most casual people, it really doesn't. They're relying way too heavily on it. It's the only thing worth coming to the Crew 2 for, is the Summit. And a lot of days when it's just fucking filled with planes and boats, it probably brings a lot less people to the Summit. Now sure, they've actually been adding cars. They just added the RX-8 and the S2K. Two cars that are cool, definitely, but not really cars that are making people rush back to the Crew 2. And you get to use these cars in the same boring races that you've always been able to, because the racing in this game is just quite boring. There's no traffic to really dodge, there's no like cops to outrun. It's just go to the finish line, be first, you win. Like, what other racing games have done that? So yeah, really, what should they do in 2020? I believe they should actually, if they're gonna continue working on the Crew 2, they should release an expansion. I believe this expansion should focus on illegal street racing, the illegal side of things. It should redo street racing to make it fun, because street racing in this game is just not fun. Like, I'm talking about having to dodge traffic, outrun cops, like, add rehaul customization, add a bit more of a street scene element to the game. That would definitely bring a lot of people back, because a lot of people who are into cars are into, like, the street scene and imports and JDM and all that type of stuff. If you could literally outdo Need for Speed, an expansion like that, or at least be somewhat on the same level as Need for Speed, then you're definitely gonna win back a lot of people. If you do that, you're gonna win a lot of fans back who left after the Crew 1 and saw what an abomination the Crew 2 was. What the next update should do is focus on adding street events, like different types of street events. They don't even have to just be street racing. You can mix it up too. Like, I'm talking about sprint racing, lap knockout, time trials, like drift battles, like inner city street battles, toge runs, like stuff that car guys enjoy, stuff that people who played the first game for, people who play other like racing games for. You can really bring a lot of those people back. If the Crew 2 came out with an update that adds cop chases, toge runs, inner city street racing, street drifting, and really promotes it, hones it in alongside with PvP and all those, and like has summits dedicated to that, you're gonna win a lot of people over, and a lot of those people who might come over might even check out the other aspects of the game, like the off-roading or the hypercars or the like the drag racing or the planes and boats. Like, who you don't know, that could really win a lot of people over. Ivory Tower took way too much with this idea of, hey, let's branch out but not actually try and keep our core audience from the Crew 1, and that's really what I think they should do with the Crew 2 if they were to do an expansion. I mean, look at fucking Chicago. Chicago, the third biggest city in America. There are no events here aside from a few speed traps. Like, why not fill the city up with street race events? Like, there's so much dead space in places that should have a lot of events. Look at Washington, D.C., an aerobatics event. There's nothing, like, there's no driving events there. Dallas, same thing. Like, you have a bunch of cities in the game. You have a lot of land in the game with a lot of cities that don't even have any events. I mean, look, Seattle must have just gotten a street race. Before, for the longest time, they didn't have it. San Francisco has, like, what, a few races. Like, look at all these, like, cities that are just barren. Salt Lake City doesn't have any street races. You could literally, like, bring back the 510s or something. Give us a reason to explore these cities. Give us a reason to upgrade our cars and everything. That's what people who play these types of games want. They don't really want to go flying around in planes or driving boats. Sure, those are fun from time to time, but I don't play the Crew 2 for boats or planes, and I doubt the average Crew player does either. If I want to fly a plane, I'll hop on X-Plane. It's no big deal. Alright, 140 knots.
Look who's
New Bedford Regional.
Whoa! What was that plane doing there? That's what I believe they should do. Something with inner city street racing, or just road racing altogether. Illicit street racing with toge runs, street races, cop chases, those types of things. I believe they should bring that back to 510s. That would bring a lot of people back into the game. Hell, have Tio, that guy Tio, who was the boss in the street racing campaign, who fucking, what was that? The guy in the wheelchair, I forgot his fucking name, but the guy who's like, oh, street racing bad, hurdy-durdy-dur. Like, get that guy out, bring Tio in, and you can have a really good expansion that can win a lot of people back into the game. That's what I would like to see. And before the pit crew members start writing paragraphs in my comment section, do I actually believe that Ivory Tower is going to do this? No, I don't. Ivory Tower has decided to ever since the Crew 2 has come out, Ivory Tower has decided that listening to the community is not in their best of interest. So I honestly doubt, instead of doing something like this where they could literally bring people back into their game, they're gonna go and do some stupid shit, which is probably what they're gonna do. Pretty much what I said in the last video too, and they never really did that. Just focusing on illicit street racing, the illicit side of things. You could still have the planes and boats and everything, but I believe an expansion should really focus on adding events to all the areas of the map, especially Chicago, that don't have events, and focus on street racing and car customization. Maybe work on adding, instead of a bunch of hypercars, maybe add in a few JDM cars that aren't in the game. or just cars that are not even necessarily JDM, but cars you would typically find in a street racing scene. I mean, hell, I can see like add a bunch of hot rods and have a bunch of illegal street races in Detroit, or have like a bunch of muscle cars or stuff like that. That shit would be cool. Hell, you could probably do something Blues Brothers themed in Chicago. Maybe add the Blues Brothers mobile, the Bluesmobile, or a car like the Bluesmobile, and like have a bunch of stunts and car chases and everything in Chicago. That would be fucking sick. There has to be something going on behind the scenes, because there is so much they could do with this game. Like, even with the Crew 1, there's so much they could do with this game, and they were so close with the Crew 1, but they threw it all away for the Crew 2, and there's so much they could do with the Crew 2, but they just decide not to do it. They just decide to focus on dumb shit. And then, of course, I believe in an update aside from the expansion, they should focus on, instead of just giving more of a crew vibe, you know? Like, focus more on crews as well. The game's literally called The Crew 2, but there's nothing really for you to do in a crew. Let us establish our own crews and fight against other crews on leaderboards, or have more people in a crew, like more people in a session, like bump it up from like 4 to 8 or 16 or something like that, or allow us to like be in lobbies with people in our own crews, and allow us to like do different jobs, or like do different races and everything, and see who can have the best crew out of the bunch, and have crew v crew battles. You could definitely hone that in. That's something I would definitely also like to see in 2020. I believe that's something that could really help the Crew as a franchise. But that's going to be it for me tonight. Thank you guys so much for tuning in with me. More videos on the way. I'm now on a stricter schedule, so I'll have more time. Not a stricter schedule, but I'm more on a better schedule, so I'll actually be able to film more videos, and there's more videos coming very soon. I know I've been kind of lackluster in terms of videos. I've mainly been streaming, but I've got a good schedule for both of them coming, so expect more videos in the future. I'm going to be playing Project Torque soon, so stay tuned for that. But that's going to be all for now. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys in my next video. Have a good one, guys.